month live panel discussion. And I'm so excited because I am joined with some of our amazing ladies. The city of Augusta has a lot of amazing women. And I wish we could put them all on this one big panel discussion, but we can't. So I'm so delighted that we get a chance to have this discussion together. And so before we dive into it, I want to just start here. I want us to take a moment to introduce our panelists, and we will go from there. So first up, Miss Elizabeth Brooks, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Brooks, and I work at the Augusta-Richmond County landfill. I have been to the landfill for about 18 years, and I enjoy working here. I always have. And I work to the jail, to the police department. Then I went to Marvin Griffin Road. So altogether, I have been working for the city 22 years almost.
Wow, that's awesome. And Ms. Brooks, you are our October 2021 Employee of the Month as well.
Yes.
That's right. So we definitely have to throw that in there, of course. Definitely. That's a huge accomplishment as well. So thank you for joining us today. Next up, Ms. Norma Lee, tell us a little bit about who you are. Oh, you're muted, Ms. Lee.
Sorry, thank you. I started with the city in 1976 with the inspection department, and the same year I came into utilities. I've worked in many different positions with utilities, and been lucky to have some bosses that let me ask questions, learn a little bit. IT and software people who have let me ask questions and learned a lot. It's brought me to where I am today. I've really enjoyed every minute. I enjoy the people I work with.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Next, Ms. Kathy Robinson. Thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Thanks for having us, Danielle. My name is Kathy Robinson. I'm currently the first Deputy Director of HR. I've been in public service for 16 years. I started out as a housing grant analyst for affordable housing in the state of Ohio. And then from there, I moved to California and worked for local government as a management analyst for a city of Novato, which was a limited services department, city. And so I was there and for a couple of years. And then I moved to city of St. Helena, which is a smaller organization. Its residents are about 6,000, but it was a full service city. And so I had that experience and I became the senior management analyst for public works. I was there for 4 years and I had an incredible opportunity to be the operations manager at the courtyard, which we call boots on the ground. And that was an incredible experience. And then I moved in 2016 as the first ever human resources director for the city of St. Helena. And so then in 2021, we decided that my daughter was about to start college. And so we started looking at houses in the South and we decided to make Aiken our home. And so in 2021, we moved here. And then in August of 2021, I had the pleasure of being the first deputy director. So that's what brings me here.
Awesome. What a great journey, Kathy. Thanks for being with us. And next up, Ms. Tamika Allen. So glad you're here with us and tell us a little bit about who you are.
Thank you, Danielle. I am also glad to be here. I've been with the city going on 30 years now. This is my 30th year. I have served in various capacities in the city of Augusta, probably right after college, a little after college. I graduated from Savannah State University with my degree in computer science, as well as another degree in computer engineering, and ended up finishing my MBA here at the Augusta University. Came to the city of Augusta, started out, believe it or not, in our municipal court at the time. This is prior to consolidation. Worked in various capacities in the technology area after that. Even served as the information technology director and deputy administrator for 9 years, and ended up becoming the interim city administrator at one time. And currently, as I stated, I serve as the Chief Information Officer for the City of Augusta.
Awesome. Well, I applaud all of you ladies for all of your accomplishments, because what I love about March is that we get a chance to pause and reflect on the amazing women who have impacted our community, our world, and our families, right? Our nation. And you all have certainly impacted the city of Augusta, which leads me to my first question for you all, which is how the city of Augusta has a high number of women in leadership positions. In fact, I do want to share this tidbit. Out of the nearly 3,000 Augusta employees, there are 1,056 female employees and 168 women in leadership positions. That is amazing. Let me share you a little bit, something else. I was bugging Kathy about this yesterday, so I definitely have to state these facts. Okay, so when we consider the women in leadership, 22 are deputy directors or higher, and the others are managers, supervisors, leads, or seniors. This really speaks to how progressive our government is. So going back to this question, what do you feel are some of the benefits that come with having women in these leadership roles? Anyone want to share?
Well, I think we have more understanding about a lot of different things than men, because men, they mind literally too many different places. But women, they think about things much harder.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah,
Ms. Lee?
I kind of thought that they bring diversity in the way that they analyze and approach things, which is kind of leading off what she said, that men have a different way of approaching things than women.
Yes.
I would agree with both of them. And when you look at the numbers, like you had stated, Danielle, there's 40% of our workforce. That means 40% of our workforce is female. So when we don't have a voice, it's nice to have a voice. And I think that's really important, because they are going to bring a perspective that a very different perspective that isn't going to be taken into account for if we don't have those women in leadership positions. And so I think that's what's really important. It's just being diverse.
And I would have to agree totally with everything everyone has said. The diversity is a necessary beast in any organization to make it a successful organization. So without that respective diversity, I'm not sure that Augusta would be as progressive in making things happen. And exactly, the mindsets are a little different in how we approach things. Men and women do approach things. I mean, that's just the DNA and makeup of men and women. So having both at the table together gives us a better opportunity to meet the needs of the growing organization.
I agree with all of you, and I believe there's strength in diversity. Wouldn't you say so? There's strength and there's power in diversity. And there's a saying that says, if you can see her, you can be her. Have you all heard that?
I say it all the time.
Yeah, do you want to expound on that a little bit, Ms. Allen?
I go out a lot, especially in my industry and what I do, because I'll share something with you. When I started 30 years ago, there were not many African-American women taking up technology or computer science. It was just unheard of. To the point when I told my parents that I was going to major in that, they were wondering what I was doing as well. So I know that it's a lot of struggle to be in a male-dominated area like I'm in, and it's mostly a white male-dominated field. It has started changing progressively now. More women are getting into it. So I go out and speak a lot to young females and try to encourage them to come into the STEM arena, because I always believe if they can see it, they can be it. So when I go out and speak to them, most of them don't realize and they're really surprised when I tell them what my background is and what I do. But then they realize, if she can do that, maybe I can do it. So I firmly believe if you want them to be it, let them see it.
That's good. Anybody else want to expound?
I have a similar experience when I went to the courtyard as operations manager. You don't see operations managers at a courtyard. So I'm the only female there. But I think what we bring to the table is we soften it up for them. And then that's the perspective, is that we bridge the gap. And so when we have a presence somewhere, then we open up the doors for all of us women to start making our mark in areas that we weren't making a mark in. So I think it's fabulous, Miss Allen, what she's doing for information technology. And I just think that we, like you said, if they can see us there, then now our daughters and sisters and everybody else can start to fill those positions that they didn't think that they could do before. So I think it's fantastic.
Completely agree. Ms. Brooks, Ms. Lee, want to add to that?
Well, I feel that a lot of times young girls, I was a young girl one time, and I didn't finish school, but since I've been to Augusta Richmond County, I have did a lot of different things. I have filed, I have did a lot of things that most people wouldn't realize that I did out here, like the garbage cans and stuff like that. I help, fix the package so they can put them in, pass them out to different people when we open up solid waste with all the different trucks and stuff like that, and the different garbage cans and stuff like that. And it was nice. I enjoyed it. I know how to file. I know how to do a lot of stuff since I applied myself to try to do it.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that. Ms. Lee, any words on that?
Kind of like she said, you have to apply yourself. But if you're in a position where you have people under you, or you can make a difference or help them understand something in a way that they couldn't, explain it in a different way. Everybody, as my boss tells me, everybody doesn't learn the same.
Yeah.
So, and part of my role was passing on some of my knowledge of what I have in our system. So just take the time to show them and be there for them.
Thank y'all so much for sharing. I don't know about you all who are watching, but I'm definitely being inspired and touched by all of the feedback that we're getting here today. So let's keep going, ladies. I am a firm believer that you have to celebrate your team, celebrate those who are making an impact. And so I want to hear from you. How can we do that? How can employers and managers and so on, how can they celebrate the positive impacts women are having in their organizations, whether it be in government or any industry? How important is that, and how can they do that?
I would take it a step further, Danielle, as it relates to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that, first of all, based on the progression that is going on with women in the workplace, we need to start with respect. I think, first of all, we have to respect the women that are in the positions prior to us being able to celebrate the women in the positions. Too many times, and we find that people or women that are in positions are not well respected. And I think more so than any, we need to start looking at the women that are in these positions and respecting the fact that they did not get these positions by happenstance. They've had to demonstrate that they were capable of doing it. We all know there is a difference in some of the things that are accepted in various positions and various roles within any organization. And so I think before we get to the point of really celebrating them, we need to get to the point of respecting them.
Good point. Good point. Anyone else want to share?
I say recognize their accomplishments. I know at utilities, we have someone that, within our utilities department, we recognize different facts about people and what's going on. And so you have to, if you recognize them, it helps them celebrate. Other people know, get it out there, what they're doing.
Very good point, Ms. Lee. Anyone else, Kathy?
I think we could, give them a place to showcase us, a place to mentor. I think a mentorship program would be fantastic here at Augusta. We have so many fabulous women in leadership and so many opportunities out there that if we're given a venue to bring all these women together and then start to mentor them, we bring them under our wings. I mean, we've got so much talent, so much institutional knowledge that's about to retire, to be honest with you. And so how best to capture that? Let's give our women a place to capture that knowledge and then go out there and maybe do job shadowing. I think that's the best way, because that really says, hey, we believe in the women in our organization right now. So let's give them a way to mentor to our other people, other women in our organization, and give them a chance.
I wholeheartedly agree. Ms. Brooks, anything? Got it. Well, I'll tell you the things that stood out to me. What you said was we need to be respected, there needs to be acknowledgement, and there needs to be mentorship. And this is across any industry. And I think that is definitely necessary, because it goes back to, if we can see her, we can be her. And so there needs to be respect there, acknowledge her gifts, acknowledge what she brings to the table, and then bring mentorship so that there can be continuously development there. I love it. Now, ladies, my God, we have to balance everything. And many of you are balancing families, career, education, and we're still trying to take care of ourselves. Oh, we could run ourselves ragged trying to do this balancing act. So what do you all do when you step away from the desk, the day is done? How do you take care of yourself? How do you find balance? Because it's hard sometimes for me to find my balance.
Well, what I do, I go home, I just sit down and relax and just be quiet. I might doze off to sleep, I don't know, but I have to be relaxed, because I get up so early in the morning. I get up at 5:30 in the morning, so I have to relax myself in peace and quiet.
I like that. Yes, ma'am. Who would like to go next? Ms. Lee, would you like to share?
I like outside. I work in my yard a lot. If I have something on my mind, I'll be cutting grass. So I walk, I keep in touch with old friends. And so it kind of keeps me back, away from the job. Let's get our mind off the job. So.
That's awesome. Ms. Allen, would you like to share?
I'll have to admit that I have a bad addiction to shopping. And that's kind of my relief. But I also I believe in spending a lot of time with my family, as well as doing a lot of community service in my sorority, in my other activities or memberships that I'm involved in. I like giving back to the community. So I try to find a lot of time that I can do that as well.
Awesome, thank you. And Kathy, would you like to share?
Well, the given is put down the phone, right? And so you have to unplug from that phone. You've got to put it away. The message is still going to be there. The text is still going to be there. So I think that's really important. Personally, for me, I'm a left brain, right brain kind of person. And so my position, I'm very much in the left side of my brain all the time. And so I know I need to be in my right side of the brain a lot. So on my downtime, I'll do things, cake decorating. I just picked up embroidery, things like that. So you got to know yourself. And then in the day and age that we are in, we're in social media. And so you got to remember also to stay grounded. You can't lean on other people's perception of yourself. You got to love yourself for who you are, and forget all that nonsense in social media, and know that just believe in yourself. And I think that is really important. That's how you really take care of yourself and stay grounded.
And if I could say one more thing.
Yeah.
To piggyback off what Kathy is saying, because she's exactly right. You have to know who you are. And you have to stay. I think one part of staying grounded is being, having humility. As I stated earlier, I've served in various capacities in this organization, and how I look at it, from the bottom to the top. And, when I served in those various capacities, I had one of the employees say to me, Miss Allen, you stayed the same. You're the administrator, but you're the same person that you were when you were not the administrator. And I would always jokingly respond back, it took me 20 some years to get to that position. It'll take me 20 something seconds to get back down. So you have to stay humble, and you have to stay the course of knowing who you are and remembering that things can change in a blink of an eye. So you don't ever forget where you came from. And so I'm a firm believer in staying humble and staying who you are. A position doesn't make a person.
Yes,
No, it does not.
so true. So
That's
true.
good. That's good. Your position. And I think that's something we all need to hold on to.
That's
Your
right.
position does not make you who you are. No matter where you are on the ladder, you bring something to the table.
True.
And so even if that position is taken away, it still doesn't dictate your value, right?
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. And I want to take some of y'all's advice about unplugging and all this stuff. Lord knows, I need a digital detox. I'm sure I'm not the only one out there watching who needs a digital detox. And if y'all know, I was waiting, actually, Tamika, I was waiting for you to say a digital detox, being that you're the chief information officer. And I love the fact you're like, you didn't even bring up technology. I love it. I'm inspired, Ms. Allen.
I can't do that. I can't even unplug. I'm addicted to that too. So I didn't want to bring up that, but I am addicted to technology all day and all night.
Awesome. All right, ladies, let's keep going. So just kind of bouncing around a little bit, but how can women, I'm sure there's someone watching and they're like, I want to develop my business skills. I want to develop my leadership skills. I want to express myself in a more confident way. So how can they do that? What advice would you share?
I'm going to take kind of what Kathy had mentioned something earlier that I thought about. You find a mentor that shares your values, and then you put them yourself kind of under them and learn from their guidance. That someone who I'd say you look up to, but maybe not, that you just see they're doing things right and in the right way. So you learn from them and you don't place limits on yourself.
Awesome. Maybe one other person want to share before we move forward?
I think that as the employer, we have an opportunity to encourage our women to join associations or be a member of an association. And I think, we put a lot of emphasis on training, but I think we really need to encourage them and support them in attending conferences that are, professional development, for women specifically. And I think because they're not really thinking about that, they're just thinking about getting the job done today. And so I know from my own personal experience that when I had a department head say, hey, I'm going to send you to this, the MMANC, and you're like, oh, I really don't have the time. I got this workload, but we have to be supportive to that. As managers, as department heads, we have to support our employees and say, hey, no, listen, I understand that you have this workload, but it's really important for you to get this kind of mentorship, this kind of exposure. And so the work is still going to be there. And so that's part of it, is we have to support them when they are out there trying to gain those leadership skills. So I think that's key.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to bounce around just a little bit, panel, to this other question. That is, what advice would you offer to someone who's interested in possibly going into your field? What advice would you share? Maybe we'll have from two of you would like to share.
I would say, don't be afraid, just do it. I think oftentimes what I've learned is that whenever somebody is looking for a job or looking to change jobs, women will look, if there's 10 qualifications, unless we have all 10, they're not going to apply. Whereas a male, if he gets 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, he's got it. I'm going to apply because I know what I'm doing. And we have to have that same kind of mentality. Just believe in yourself and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, because mistakes are going to happen. But I love mistakes because I learn from my mistakes. Without my mistakes, I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't make that mistake. Because if life is smooth sailing, how do we learn? We're not going to learn, because and especially once we run into that first roadblock, we're going to be deer in the headlights. What do I do now? So I don't want a perfect world. I want to have those mistakes and make those mistakes. They just make you who you are and opens up a flood of opportunities for you.
Sorry.
It's okay. And maybe one more person want to share?
I say, stay the course. Kind of like what Kathy was saying, believe in yourself. Don't let anyone discourage you. Along the way, I've had many hurdles thrown at me because of, again, what industry I was in. And, you know, whether it was for me being a woman or for me being an African-American, it was always discouraging words, but you can't let those discouraging words hamper your progression. You have to stay the course, stay focused, know anything that's worth having. It's not going to come easy. And so you have to stay firm in what you believe in. Keep a relationship with God, know what you're all about, and make sure that you keep people around you and surround yourself with positive people that's going to push you and lift you up.
Good point. Oh, I'm having such a good time, and I can't believe we're almost done. Okay, so my next question is, really quickly, I would love to hear from all of you. Who was or who is your role model? Let's start with you, Ms. Brooks.
My role model is my pastor's wife, Stella Diggs.
Awesome. Let's see, Miss Robinson.
I've had lots of role models in my life, and most of them are just powerful women who just will take the time and mentor you. And so honestly, right now, my biggest role model right now is Miss Anita. I say that because she brings so much energy to the table and an inspiration, and she makes me want to be a better person, a better version of myself. And so I've had a lot of mentors in my life, but she just brings just an incredible energy that I can't even explain. If you've ever met Miss Anita, you would understand that. But she leverages the talent within our organization, and to me, that's how we're going to build more women up, because she lifts people up. And I think that's really critical, because so many of us women bring each other down, and it's so inspiring when you find somebody who's going to lift you up. And so that is any woman who lifts you up like that is a role model for me. But for now, it is Miss Anita.
Awesome. Thank you. Ms. Allen, who was or who is your role model?
I too have many great women in my life that have been great role models for me and mentors for me. But I would have to say the person that is my best role model is my mom. And the reason I say that, because during the many hurdles and things that I faced, she was the one who knew exactly what needed to take place and how I needed to react to those hurdles. She was the one who always said, don't you change who you are for anybody, because there is nothing wrong with you. And if anybody's looking at it as if you're not this or you're not that, something's wrong with them. So you have to have that mentor or that person that builds you up, again, that gets you through the day. And if it's any other woman who does that for me, it's her.
Awesome. And Miss Lee.
Well, I'll have to say my mom in a way, because she instilled a work ethic in me from the time I was young. It was very important to be at work, be there when you should be there, don't take off when you don't need to take off, that type of thing. And then two of my former supervisors were among the first women that held positions in the old city. They were there Miss Owens, she answered directly to the mayor. She had no one over her. And then my next boss was Miss Stevenson, and she gave me lots of words of wisdom. And Tamika knows we both worked with Miss Stevenson. And so those are two people that I can say kind of shaped, or three that shaped me into who I am today.
Awesome. And I definitely have to say my mom, she's my mentor. She's my mom. That's my mama. Okay, my last question, ladies. Last question. We've had such a great time together. So our last question, I would love to hear maybe just from two of you. What advice, if you could go back and talk to your 25-year-old self, what would you tell her? I would love to hear from two of you.
I would tell my 25-year-old self, be proud of the woman that you're becoming. Don't hesitate to keep moving forward. Don't hesitate to knock out those roadblocks that you are going to be facing, and do it with a smile and do it with confidence.
Love it. Miss Brooks, I saw your hand.
To me, 25 years ago, I thank God for me being who I am today. I'm my best person today because God is in my life. He brought me up to be the woman I am now.
Awesome.
I wouldn't want to change that.
Well, I'm going to break my own rule. I want to hear from Kathy and Norma. I'm just, we're having a full Oprah moment right here. So Kathy and Norma, what would you tell your 25-year-old self?
Kathy, you want to go first?
I lean back to just don't be afraid. I would tell myself that believe in yourself and don't be afraid to make that first move. If it's something that you want to do, it's in your heart. If it's in your heart, God placed it there, so follow it.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy. And Norma?
Don't let what other people think of you or your ability plant seeds of doubt in your mind. If you know you're right, then go with what you first thought. You know your ability.
Well, ladies, this was awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your words of wisdom. And all of you ladies who are watching, please take what you heard and run forward with it. And all of us, men and ladies, let's take this time to pause and reflect on the many women in our lives, those who may have already passed on and those who are still living, who continue making an impact in our lives. So again, thank you, Ms. Brooks, Kathy, Norma, Ms. Allen, and to our interim administrator, Mrs. Dowse. Thank you all so much. And let's continue celebrating Women's History Month, right? All right. So until next time, take care, everybody.